Yeah, it's working.
Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight we've got something a little bit different. We're going to be building a mining rig. So Rob is one of my customers and he came to me, he wants to try his hand at it. And yeah, I said, yeah, I'll put one together for you, man, no worries. So this is what we've come up with. So I'll go through some of the components here today and I'll sort of explain sort of what my rationale was with choosing these parts. So over here we've got the PC components that are going into it. So we're not going to be supplying any graphics cards with this rig. This is just going to be the mining rig itself with all of the equipment needed to set it up for 6 graphics cards, but it won't include any graphics cards. So that is the purpose of this build. So because of the mining boom, we haven't been able to get any of the cheap CPUs with onboard processors, with onboard graphics, I should say. So you don't need a strong CPU to do cryptocurrency mining. You certainly don't need an i5-9400. However, if you want to get a cheap motherboard with maximum numbers of PCIe slots, you really have to go with 9th gen Intel to get something that's a good value. If you go to 10th gen Intel, you end up paying too much money for the amount of PCIe slots that you need, and that also puts up the cost of the processor as well. So this CPU can be picked up for about 240 bucks, and then the motherboard can be picked up for under 100 bucks. So together it sort of balances itself out compared to running a lesser CPU but then having to spend more on the motherboard. So that's why, just straight out of the box, before anyone asks why have you got an i5 here, you don't need that, blah 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 blah. That's my rationale with it. It's just based on the availability of parts right now. So we've got a few fans here that we're going to install. We're going to add a couple of other ones as well, just some plain black ones. We've got one 850 watt 80 plus gold gigabyte power supply here. So I believe Rob will probably add more power if he needs it. It's going to depend on the graphics cards that he's running. We've just got 4 gigabytes of RAM down here. We don't need much memory for this. And we've just got a 250 gigabyte SSD here. And we have 6 of these. So I'll disassemble it and I'll show it to you part by part. Okay, so what happens is it starts with this tiny little PCIe USB riser. So this is the bit that sticks into the motherboard. And then we go with a USB 3 cable. I'll get it in the right way eventually. And then we can go up here to our X16 PCIe slot. So we'll plug in the USB 3 here for the data, and so that's connected the data from the motherboard to this X16 slot up here for our graphics card.
Sandra says hi.
Hey Sandra, how you going? And then this cable over here, so this is a PCIe 6-pin, and so we've got a SATA to 6-pin adapter here, so we don't have to use up all of our PCIe power off our power supply. And so that is essentially what we are hooking up. There is one component that we don't have here tonight for this build, but it's only going to affect 1 out of the 6 slots that we're going to be setting up, and it's no big deal to add it later. So what we'll do, may as well show you the motherboard and I can show you what I'm talking about here as well. So this is an MSI Z390 motherboard here. This is the OEM packaging. So just a plain box. Like I said, I can pick these boards up really cheap. And so to get a board under $100 with 5 PCIe slots is pretty rare these days. So what have we got here? I don't think we need anything from here except maybe some M2 screws. No, our M2 screws are actually on the motherboard there. So literally we don't need anything from this board. We don't even need the SATA cables. So I can literally all go in the bin. But I'll keep the board here as a base.
You mean box?
Sorry. The board box as a base. So let's just get this motherboard prepped and out of the way because it won't take too long. So I won't bother pointing out all the features of this motherboard here like I normally would, because this obviously isn't a normal PC build. But if you want to look it up, it's the MSI Z390. I think they call this board.
It's on the side. Z390 Plus.
What model is it? Z390 Plus, they call it. Which is essentially a budget board. It's got 2 M2 slots, it's got a CNVI Wi-Fi slot, it's got 5 PCIe slots, and so the part that we're missing is going to be an M2 to PCIe riser. So we're going to actually turn one of these M2 slots into another PCIe slot so this motherboard can support 6 graphics cards that way. So that's all we're missing for this build tonight. So we're going to be able to set all the other ones up, and then Rob will just have to wait for that last part to come. So I did order it, and they did send me something, but they, instead of sending me the riser, they sent me this shitty piece of e-waste, a SATA to floppy drive cable. Like, this is just e-waste, man. Who is using this in 2021? I'm sure there's niche users, but, you know, actually I shouldn't have chucked that out because I need to take a photo of it and request a refund on it. I was just like, it's e-waste, get rid of it. Anyway, so let's just start our build here. So we'll get our CPU on the board here. Like I said, this is the i5 9400. So we're taking advantage of the onboard graphics here, so we don't have to use a graphics card for our display output. And so what we've got here is a HDMI and a DVI output for our display. And obviously we've got a standard Intel 9400 LGA 1151 CPU going in here. So this is more than what we need for a mining rig. We could use something as cheap as a Celeron in this and it would be just fine. Unfortunately, because of the mining boom, there has been long-term out of stocks on those SKUs. So we get what we can get.
Beggars can't be choosers.
What's that?
I said beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. That is exactly right. So we'll just use our stock cooler here. It's going to be completely fine. Never really have a problem with 9400 with a stock cooler, or any of the 400s actually, even the 10400 and the 11400. Completely fine with the stock cooler. So we'll just connect that, feel the click, and then you know it's in there. And we should be able to wrap this wire around, keep it nice and tidy. Even though it's just a mining rig, it's still going to be seen, so let's just make sure. That looks right. Sweet. Let's get our CPU installed. get our M.2 drive installed. So this is a Team Group MP33. So it's just a budget SSD. Yeah, it is good. Good eye, good eye, babe. It is actually a little bit thinner, probably 0.5 millimeter thinner than normal ones. And so, where is my screwdriver? Now it's on the floor, and my mouse is on the floor. It's okay.
Just start chucking everything on the floor.
Okay, so I think I'll probably use this bottom M2 slot.
Is there a reason why that one's thinner?
It's just a cheaper drive.
Oh, okay.
Because this is obviously no frills here.
Black and gold.
Yeah. I need one of those electromagnet remagnetizers for my tools. Alright, and we just got our single lonely stick of memory. It's got very lonely little tiny modules. And we will put this into slot 1. Yeah.
Nick says hi. How many graphics cards going into this thing?
6, but not here, mate. I'm not supplying graphics cards.
He doesn't do that.
No, sorry, I can't.
He'll do the computer, but he won't supply the graphics.
Yeah, I can't supply the graphics cards. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. I can't supply them. So even you're on your own with the graphics cards, but if you need the rig built, that's not a problem. Alright, so we've got our motherboard prepped. That was pretty easy. So now the fun part is going to be assembling this frame. So, this particular frame holds 6 graphics cards. And so, let's get our pieces organised here.
Tim, Caleb says hey, bro.
Hey Caleb, how you going? Good to have you with us. Let's get these pieces kind of sorted out here. Because as you can see, there's a few pieces, but they've got slightly different markings on them, so I'm going to keep them into their specific groups so I can keep track of them. FS04, that's a new one. Yep.
Caleb, how are you?
Yeah, good, man. What was Nick going to say?
He says, I was going to say, because I said to myself, I don't see Tim supplying 6 graphic cards with one rig.
Yeah, no. So we've got 6s here, a 2, 2 2s, and a 6. This is the fun part, just like getting everything organised out of the box, because if I just tip it all upside down, that'll be even worse. So what have we got over here?
Like you've been to IKEA.
Basically, FS01.
There's probably better instructions with this thing.
What's that?
I said there's probably better instructions with this thing.
Yeah, probably. This is a unique piece. And what we got 3. These all called FS07. 2 are FS07, 1 is FS08. Alrighty, we've got these pieces sorted. So these pieces are for like mounting our hard drive if we had one, and for our power supplies. So they seem to have some adhesive tape on them. This sounds like our main box of bolts. Oh, what have we got here? Corner braces, end pieces. It's like some of the bolts we're using for the frame. This looks like motherboard offsets. I might put them up here with the motherboard. Heap of screws here. Some smaller screws. Some really small screws. Some weird spaces. And some more screws. Excellent. I love it when there's lots of different screws. So I do have some instructions here that I'll use as a reference while I build this. So we've got so these bolts they don't have names on them though. That's fun. So these have got, the poles have got names on them, but these bags don't have names. I'm going to have to...
Look at the diagram and then look at the
yes.
bolt and you're like, is that the right one?
Okay, so we get a couple of FSO2s. Yep. Okay, so we've got poles going through that. So that would be like that. Oh yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay. Now once we get going, it'll be relatively easy. I've just got to build up the base of the frame and work out what I'm doing, and then it will be a little bit easier. I could have done this earlier, like off camera, but I figured you'd love to watch me like struggle to put this together.
Yeah, I did ask him before he started. I'm like, "Are you gonna like do that before you start your video?" And he's like, "No, I'll do it live." I'm like, "Oh, it'll be interesting."
Yeah, so no one.
He gets real cranky when he puts things together.
No one accused me of lacking courage. Okay, so it's the FSO7 pieces on the end here. Okay, what have we got here? Allen keys.
Rob says mission to build.
Yeah, so yeah, you definitely get your value. So that should just bolt in. Oh no, not those. It must be these big old fat ones. No, that's the wrong size. Allen key. That's the right size Allen key. I don't want to actually use Allen keys, so I'm using my screwdriver and the Allen key pieces. Is my Allen key like slightly not the right size? Apparently. Okay, so we've got to make sure that bolts go the right way because there's holes in the frame.
I was wondering why they called Allen keys. It's because of the company that made them.
Yeah.
It's like, surely it's got to be named after the person. Introduced in 1910. Fun fact for you.
Seriously? No, I do have the right size. It's just tough to get in to the nut.
Why don't you just use the Allen keys that they gave you?
No, because it's harder to screw them in because you got to do this whole motion. It's much easier just to twist. Okay, so that's one piece over there, and we need this other FS7.
Oh, I see. Is that the base of it?
Yeah, this is the base that we're building right now.
Yeah.
So,
Is there a plate that the motherboard sits on, or does it
No.
like, just sit like freely?
yeah, the motherboard will just sit freely. So, this. Oh, hang on. I think I've used... Is that not the right piece for that? Is that FX06? But that doesn't look right either. Now, FS06 is this piece. FS05 is... Yeah, okay. I think we should be using FS2 there and FS5 there. So at least I realised before I went too far that it was two different parts that were the same length. And now I don't have the leverage to undo it, and I will need the Allen key. Yeah, so you just got to make sure there's little screw holes here for your offsets. You've got to make sure that they're facing the right way up. You don't want to screw any of these bars in the wrong way. There's a specific way that they should be. And I think I got this one wrong as well. Look at that. But see, I got it wrong, but I'm correcting it. I know what I'm looking for. That's the problem. That's the not the problem. That's the good thing about it. I could probably word that a bit better, eh? Oh, apparently, like occasionally. There we go. So now we need this piece FS06, and we need to position that down here. FS06 doesn't have any holes or anything, so that can just be put in position there. And we have now completed step one. Step one. Alright, so we need FS01s. Oh, yep, got these 4 bad boys here. We've got an FS04 over here. FS04. So we join 2 FS01s to FS04. We should have little feet created from this. Should slip one down there. Yeah. Always. Always. Just a second, darling. Let me finish this piece that I'm building, so we're not here all night.
I'll allow it. Hey Francis, hey Tim, hey boss, hey.
Hey Ryan, how you going? So what do you want? You want one of these, and you want one of these. Alright, so didn't get that perfect. Awesome. So yeah, we're doing something a little bit different tonight. Feel more like I've spent the afternoon at IKEA than I'm doing a PC build, but hey. Oh, that's feeling pretty stuck. Let me put this down. Get some leverage on it. Of course, right? Even this hole is directional. Okay.
Oh, jeepers. Just wacky computer.
Yeah, I know, right?
Screen, I should say.
Well, see, it doesn't bolt together there
Why?
because it's just the design of it. Okay. And so then we want to do the exact same on the other side. So FSO1 with this FSO2. What?
I was just laughing.
Oh, the things. Yeah. Is it even going in?
I don't think so.
The actual fuck.
You get a little funny angle. Put another thing down. Is that even the right piece?
Now I'm getting confused. No, I should have two FSO1s. FSO1. FSO1. They need to be that way around. It just says FSO2. This is an FSO2. Alright, we'll try this again. Well, that seems to be working. Alright, I don't know what happened there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that nice and spotty?
Hey man, how you going? Good to have you with us. I'll get there eventually with this bad boy. Okay. Oh, god damn it. Just gotta get these angles completely right on these bolts. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Okay, that looks like step 2 complete. Okay, step 3 is these little corner bolts. So how do these go together? That's a tiny little... Okay, this is going to be fucking fun, isn't it? This piece down there.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're not. It's not secured. That's what we're about to do now. Yeah.
Fred says IKEA. Lol.
Yeah,
Pretty much, dude.
I feel like I'm at IKEA. I've just spent the afternoon at IKEA and I've come home with something that I thought was cool, and
It's not really.
it was going to be easy to put together.
It always looks so good on the shop floor, and then you bring it home and you're like, fuck.
Alright, so I kind of get how these things are meant to work.
You want help with that? No?
Oh.
You good?
Okay, so if we put these little things on down here. I got it upside down.
This is quite entertaining. What you want to do this actually?
Yeah, I thought it might be.
I'm glad you left it for the video.
what would be even cooler is if I broke the table.
I swear to God you were gonna do that one day. This thing kind of reminds me of that robot thing that they were teaching to walk, and they kept kicking it over, and it's like, oh, and the legs go like everywhere. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That weird ass bloody robot thing.
Where is... Oh, I just need an ordinary screwdriver here, I think. Oh, no. It's the smaller Allen key. Yeah.
Tyler says should have went Ryzen 3 2200G with B450A Pro Max for about 320 PCIe slots.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't get Ryzen 3 220G right now. That's the thing. If you can find the CPU, that's all well and good. But yeah, few and far between right now. They're not even making any cheap Ryzen CPUs anymore. They're done with them for the foreseeable future. All the Ryzen 3s, they're gone. They're not making them anymore. This is definitely fidgety to say the least.
It's very painful.
Alright, so I've got one of these support feet on.
Yay!
Okay, so they got these weird little things, and they kind of slide down these grooves. They're really fidgety to get in place.
They kind of look like fishes that you put on fishing lines. The different.
Okay, so you can slide this first one up. We can tighten that down. And for the second one,
You put that around the wrong way.
What do you mean? No. No.
Sorry.
Oh no, hang on, I've put that bolt on the wrong way. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Alright. Get in there. Get in there. Okay. Now that's starting to feel a lot more
Solid.
yeah. I'm less concerned about it now. Okay. So these are very strange connections, to put it lightly. But we'll get there. Okay, so we need another one of these little things. I don't even know what you call them. What would you call these little things?
Thing. I don't know. They kind of look like a nut, but they kind of look like a fish. I don't know. It's weird.
Side here. Cool, cool. I hope they give you heaps of these things with this kit. Alright, so after I do this one, there's only 2 more of these bastards.
I feel like you've been doing this forever. Yeah, it hasn't taken that long.
No. No, I'm not like completely incompetent. I'm just mildly incompetent. No, I will have this assembled. Alright. Go over these bolts and tighten them all up again towards the end. That's precariously positioned. Okay, so we've done step 3. There's only 9 steps. So we're nearly halfway. Okay, so step 4 is all relatively easy shit. So all we need to do for step 4 is actually put our motherboard on the frame. So
You might want to get those like Python dogs. Put motherboard. It's like, is it straight?
yeah, I'm just looking at that.
It's pretty straight to me. So,
Yeah.
Johnson's G'day mate, how's it going? Long time no chat.
Yeah, it has been a while, mate. Why is it not... Why is that not flush with that?
Neither is this one.
It doesn't look that way in the diagram though. Yeah.
Johnson's been flat out with work.
Oh, fair enough, mate.
It's the pink.
See what I mean?
The only one that where it looks like it's like different is this picture here, Tim. Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't say. Yeah, there's two pictures on here that. Oh, yeah, no, I think it's meant to be like that, Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. See, look at this. Oh. It's not very good drawing, but it's meant to be that. It's meant to be a little bit higher. Yeah, see, that's actually flat, Tim. These have raised them just enough so that it's even with those shorter ones. There.
So what do I just use? Do I use my own offsets for them?
I'm assuming so. Or they got other ones. Oh, goodness. So,
Yeah.
John says, is it worth getting the mining rig? Don't know much about them.
No, probably not, man.
Why are you building?
Because people wanna do that. I can't justify the graphics card expense. But what do I know? I don't gamble, I don't play the stock market, I don't do any of that, so of course I'm gonna be like, oh, whatever. Is that bar around the wrong way? I think it is. We've got one bar that's around the wrong way. Fortunately, it doesn't affect those offsets. Where's that big fat Allen key? Yep.
Okay, it says howdy, Tim, Christine.
Hey Blair, how you going? Yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there.
I was saying that to Blair, not you.
Oh. Okay.
Everything's about you, Tim.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to come across like that.
Tim, Blair says this looks interesting.
Yes, this is a crypto mining rig. We're not supplying the cards, but
That doesn't look straight.
happy to build the rig. What do you mean?
The middle pieces look funny. Like, look at the camera. Look at the screen.
Oh, yeah, this bit's... Yeah. Alright, so I need standard motherboard offsets now. So we're going to assume that these fit.
How did you lose you?
They don't even, no, but they don't even fit.
Oh no.
Like my screwdriver doesn't fit in here.
Who's these?
I got it out.
Oh. But I don't know if that's going to be level now.
No, it won't. It won't be. That's the problem. What to do? Jeez. This is definitely a kind of dodgy way of doing it.
But as long as all those other ones, there's only 2 at the top, or 1, isn't there?
There's 2. No, the thread on them's totally different.
But is it meant to be on a nail? Like, look at the picture. Is that... Oh, I don't know.
Well, look,
Have you got
it's
things
not gonna.
around the wrong?
No, the holes. Yeah. No, it's nothing like that. Well, look, we can still mount the motherboard because it's got these main screws here. And there's definitely no other offsets in here, is there? That came with all this shit.
No, pull it up again. Is there other holes to put other ones in?
No.
No? Then why did they do that?
What can I do? I will.
Tim,
Yeah.
John wants to know how many graphics cards will it have?
It will have the capacity to have up to 6, but we won't be installing any graphics cards here tonight. Where's my main piece? Oh, where to put my piece? Here it is. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to screw a couple of offsets onto the actual motherboard. And then it won't flex as much. And because the other ones are in place, hopefully it'll just hold it at the right position there. Sometimes you've got to think of, you know, outside the box solutions. And so this is one.
Tim, John says, Jesus Christ.
Yep. That's the fun with anything like this, pretty much.
Tim, Reese's. And Tim, when you refer to mining rig, what does that mean in the PC world?
So probably not the best person to explain cryptocurrency mining because I don't do it myself, but you can essentially think of it as an encrypted financial network. And the way that it works is you can be paid money for helping to facilitate those encrypted transactions, and it's all done through graphics card algorithms, essentially. That's the short answer. And I probably haven't answered it as well as people who are into it will answer, but essentially people earn money from it. But the equation is always about power and how you're going to power it, because if you run a lot of graphics cards, it uses a lot of power, and Australia's not a cheap place for power. Some of the best places for cryptocurrency mining is like out in the middle of Siberia. They've got a power plant next to a big crypto farm out there, and just generating its own power out in Siberia. It's naturally cooled by the cold. Yeah, Africa's the other place, because Africa has some of the cheapest power in the world. Venezuela, parts of South America. Yeah, that's the problem.
How are they dealing with the heat?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. The graphics cards don't last as long out there. They just get hotter. The ambient temperature's hotter. Sometimes they can air condition, but then that costs more money. So,
Tim?
yeah.
Reese's now, that's another level.
Yeah, so it's a relatively new phenomenon. So, anyway, that's our board installed. And I've got a little power switch here that I'm going to plug in. So, JFP1.
Tim.
Yep.
Acro Ashley XO on YouTube says what's up.
Hey man, how you going? Good to have you with us. We're partway through this mining rig build. So, I mean, we've got our motherboard installed and the base of our frame made. So, where are those instructions? Because I
do remember seeing that name. Jeffrey says, hey Tim, do you remember me?
I absolutely remember you, Jeffrey.
And Ashley says, do you also see live on YouTube as well as Facebook?
Yes, yeah, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So you can catch us no matter what your preferred platform is. And I do, yeah, I don't do every single repair that I do live, right? Because sometimes people come in and they need a quick repair, and I deal with them downstairs in my downstairs office space, and it will just be a simple, you know, oh, I want to upgrade my RAM or something like that. They want something really simple done, and I won't videotape that. But if we've got a repair that I think is interesting, I do it all live, so you can always catch them. And I do all my new PC builds live because everyone loves them. So, yeah. Where are those instructions, babe? Cheers. Okay, so step 4 was install our motherboard and our hard drive tray if we need it, which we don't. So what's next? Step 5 is our power supply bracket. And so, How are we dealing with these power supplies? What?
On a peel.
Oh, I'm not even looking at that.
Yeah, no, don't peel. No, no!
Take a look then. Oh my god. So...
It's a bit sticky. Oh no. I see what they've done with this, like, paper stuff they've used. They've used recycled paper, and it's really easy to rip. But I like how they've used recycled paper. It's good. Tim?
Yeah.
Ashley says I do crypto mining as well, but on Roblox, the safest way.
Oh man. People love that game.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people play it. I'm kind of interested, but I'm not really into that sort of game. There you go. That's one nice little piece of plastic.
Okay, so it looks like that should go on there or something.
Completely missed.
But how do I fasten it to the frame? There's no holes.
Does it, like, just slide in that bit? And then you put bolts in where those holes are, and that sort of holds it in. Because the weight of the stuff would, like, hold it in place. Again, you don't want it, like, falling out.
That's what I mean. So I'm just a bit confused.
Can't even see it in that picture. Like,
No. Oh, I think I see.
is there, like, holes on the side? Oh.
But he used more of these little things. So
It's so weird looking.
I know. So we're just gonna okay, so we've got to put these little things in.
Tim.
We need 4 of them. Yeah.
John says too hard bastard for you, I think.
Oh, mate. This
You're
is
lucky he's not losing his shit, because normally he gets cranky with this sort of thing. I think he's keeping his cool because he's on camera.
Thanks, babe. Okay. So I guess the trick with these things is doing them one at a time and just getting them kind of started. What's up? What?
He's just laughing. Ashley's comment said, John
What did he say?
says, so you prefer softer baskets.
Okay. There we go, we've got another step completed. And so we could install our power supply, but I think I'd like to get to the end of these steps. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have left is one of them and one of them. Not missing a piece somewhere, am I?
He's so pissed with it. Fuck.
Okay, so we'll be putting this piece up here and this other piece down here. Oh no. Okay, we are actually getting really close to turning on the PC, so this hasn't really taken any longer than an ordinary PC build. What's up?
Ashley says, guessing your girl is camera shy. She's so quiet.
Yep. She is
Yeah,
camera shy.
I am. Hi.
One of these days I'm gonna have to, like, you know, do a build with Tim's help.
I think I put that bar around
One
that
day.
way. You've been on camera before.
Yeah, if you go through Tim's builds,
There is an episode.
there is a video where I build my own PC. So you can go see me if you want. You have to scroll through a lot of shit.
A lot of shit.
I meant, oh, you know what.
I'm just being a smart ass. Okay, so I put this one in the wrong way around, so I've got to do it again.
IKEA. That's all I gotta say.
IKEA. Put it on the wrong way for a little bit, then put it on the right way. There's a few other things that work like that. USB ports, condoms. There are lots of things that you put on the wrong way for a little bit, then you put it on the right way. USB ports. Put it in the wrong way, then put it in the right way. Or actually, I'm actually getting pretty good with that these days. Okay, so we've got that all sorted. So let's get the final bars in place. And we need to use those last two things that are kind of shite. So that's okay. Alright, so oh, Rob, do you want to add Wi-Fi capability to this rig? I know you'll probably want just Ethernet, but I'll let you know. If you want it, I can add it. So just let me know in the comments.
What's this cable? I've been looking at it for ages. What is that?
It's a power cable.
Yeah?
Power cable.
For what?
The motherboard. The switch. Power on. Your case has a power on button.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you test. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just a power on button.
Oh.
So Rob was like, "Oh, make sure it's got a power on button." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm assuming you want to turn it on.
Maybe you should, you know, conceal that somehow.
No. It's meant to be
No?
on a.
Yeah, I know that, but
It's
like,
gonna be attached to the front up here, but just for now, it's okay. No, but I am going to attach it.
Haha. Ashley says it's that an iFixit screwdriver.
That is an iFixit screwdriver.
It is my friend.
Only it's kind of shit because the back of it came off, this little swirly thing, and I had to actually get blue tack inside the bearing to thread it back on, because I was like, no way to thread that back on. I didn't have the industrial tools required to pop it back on. They say it comes with a lifetime warranty, but I don't want to be without it, so I'll just fix it myself.
Get out, woman. Excuse me, I can press, you know, stop. I have the power.
Okay. Okay, that's step one. And then step two is getting this next piece on. And so oh, we don't even need one of these. It is that. No, it's the same sort of screw. Oh. So doing it this way. Okay. I guess that makes sense. It's going under. Fair enough. Okay, now we've just got this front piece. Oh, and that needs to turn around. Oh, God damn it. Okay, So obviously this back piece here is adjustable. You can push that up and down. And this piece here is our support for our graphics cards, and they get connected up the top. So, what have we got left? Got these little feet covers. You can put them on. Yep.
Gosh, this is the YouTube channel Mr. Nightmare. You told me about the massage you see. He goes out to abandoned haunted places and more.
Oh yeah. Let's get these feet on. Okay. So, what else have we got to do?
I like the spinning cable it's on.
We've just got to install. Our fans, and we can start.
Ignoring me, aren't
What?
you? Did you not hear what I said?
I wasn't listening. Okay, so what have we got here? So these fans, how are these meant to fit together? Okay, so we make a block of fans. 5 120mm fans. Yeah.
Mick says hi to me, Chris.
Hey Mick, how you going? Can I have a red one?
Need to eat, you can. Do you want these?
Yes. Yes, I will need them. Okay, so we make this big long chain of fans.
Freaking hell, how do they get these in the box? Like, it's really shoved in there.
Machine.
Box is like, no, and it's like, well, it's gonna.
Tim,
Yeah.
this is these guys and today.
No worries, man. Have a good night.
See ya.
Yeah, so this is just making it...
You know what you should have done?
What?
Put the RGB fans in the middle and 2 black fans on the outside. So it's even.
No, I'm doing it alternate. There's 5 fans, not 6. So we're going red, plain, red, plain, red. So yeah, that'll be right. Yeah. And so people are probably wondering what I'm doing back here, but you'll see very soon.
These scrolling fans. Those fluorite yellow fans.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these.
They're meant to go on the front of your fans. You don't need them.
Looks like something you put on your hot plate.
I've nearly done one row. How are we going for time? How am I going for time?
Hour and 40.
Oh yeah. That's not bad. First time I've actually put this particular kit together. That's not too bad.
10.
Yeah.
One says finger guards.
Finger guards, yeah. Yep. There's some more fan bolts. I think I've done these on the wrong side of the fans. I hope it doesn't matter. Nah, it won't matter. If it looks like shit, I'll redo it tomorrow. I'll redo it with a power drill. No, it's probably got the fan guards just for people who are building it out of, like, you know, literal random fans that are actually dangerous. Aluminium blades and stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to put fingers in that.
No. Oh yeah, because this is my favourite part of building computers, is screwing up the fans, as you know. But we've got our last 2 bolts to screw on now.
Okay.
Well, you know, out of the fan bolts.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, what am I doing? Getting ahead of myself.
So why do you only need 1 stick of RAM for this?
Because it's not a memory intensive application.
Jeepers.
So yeah, this is our fan block here. So we're going to need 4 of these little things.
John says, did my last comment come up? All we can see is fin guards. That was the last comment that we can see from you.
I like these little things because they're like cool, but I hate them because they're like real fidgety. Okay, do you want to hold one end of this? Oh, look, can you, other side of the pole? Yeah. Cool. Yep. Yeah, I got it. Can you hold that there, just Just hold it in so it doesn't. Oh. Actually, it's going to be easier if I turn the whole thing up like this. Take this in. Okay, need another one of these little fuckers. Oh.
You're really good at chucking them away. Yeah.
Very
Oh. Where did that one go? There it is.
Okay. So now we have our fans installed. Feel these cables running down the bottom there. We'll deal with them later. And so we may as well get our power supply hooked up. Okay, so we've got a modular power supply here, so we're going to install pretty much all the cables. Except we're going to have a spare CPU power cable. Yep. No worries, man. Have a good night. I'll see you next time. Definitely need some graphics card power. Definitely need some CPU power. Don't need this other CPU power.
Tim,
Yeah.
Dom says, what's this case, mate? And hey guys.
Hey Dom, how you going? So this is a totally different case. This is a case for a crypto mining rig. So this particular case,
Basically a frame.
it's basically a frame that we're mounting some PC components to, essentially. Okay. Okay, so I think they gave me a little bag of threaded bolts for the power supply. Yep. What's that? Why is it?
Like that, wouldn't it get more dust?
It's like that because it's designed to run like 6 graphics cards at the same time, so it's going to get really hot. So you can't have it in a box. You really got to have it in a frame, and ideally like somewhere with really good airflow. So these fans at these 5 fans on the front are going to provide extra airflow for the graphics cards, which will sit up on this second level here. Okay, so we've got our power supply now installed. So, what are these pieces for? I don't even know what they're for. Now we have our risers to install. So, what have these got on the bottom of them? Just foam? Well, I mean, they don't really have to be. They don't really have to be mounted to anything. So we can just go ahead and plug in.
Wants to go in. I don't think.
I've got it around the wrong way. That's why.
No.
I'm still doing it the wrong way. Get it right, Tim. Okay, so we've got 5 of these to hook up, and another one will get hooked up.
Tim.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say something, but yeah. We're going to get 5 of these hooked up, and then we've got one more that will be hooked up later when we get the correct adapter for it. So we need a M2 to PCIe adapter for this. Yeah.
Don wants to know how many graphics cards you put on tonight.
None, because I can't supply graphics cards for crypto miners. There's just not enough cards out there. I can't build someone one PC and give them 6 graphics cards and make one PC out of those 6 cards, because cards are so rare right now. If I don't have cards, I don't build people PCs. So that's part of the reason why.
Plus those super expensive.
If you're going around to PC businesses looking for cards to power your crypto, and no one's even writing back to your messages and stuff like that, that's why no one can get you the cards. We're all maxed out on what we can buy from retailers and stuff like that, so yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah, so that's just how it is for now. Like in the future, hopefully things will be a bit different. But right now, it's definitely a hot issue.
Get these some other colours other than blue.
Probably not, because the blue is designating USB 3 cables as opposed to USB 2 cables.
Fair enough.
And so we'll get all these risers installed. So we're going to have 5 in here tonight. A 6th will be able to hook up, but very easy to hook these up. The hard part is what I've just done, the assembly and all that. As you can see, hooking these up is not very hard. And here's number 5. So we've got a 6th, of course, but we're not going to be hooking it up tonight because I don't have the M2 to PCIe adapter that I need for it. But what we will be doing tonight is we will be testing all of these to make sure that they function. So that will be part of the build here tonight. Alrighty. So let's try and keep things relatively together there. And relatively neat and tidy. Okay. So now I've got some fans to deal with. So how many available fan headers do we have on this motherboard? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna need at least one extension, or we could actually power these by Molex. So what to do? What will this look like from a cable management perspective? Let's just unravel these cables here. So I'll just remove these RGB cables, these two free fans, because they're dead. They came out of someone's computer and they were fried, and I've just been keeping them as spare fans until I had the opportunity to use them, and I figured now is the time. So we can just cut those cables off that aren't going to be used, and I'll put them to use rewiring something at some stage. Okay. So I mean, you can get okay, so we've got one fan hooked up there. And where are our other fan headers? Down here. I don't know where I'll put that yet. So with these three, we might actually just power them by Molex. Right, so these will be powered by Molex. Okay. It is definitely coming along. Just got a heap of cables to tidy up now. Okay. So bring it around this way so I can actually work on it. These cables sorted out. Okay, so there's our motherboard. Our CPU. Just tie these off with some Velcro. These are our graphics card power cables. And now we're just left with these. So these are our SATA and Molex. So Molex is going over there. And these SATAs, these are going to plug into our risers. Because the USB is only for data, it's not transmitting any power. So we need to power each of these. So we're gonna have plenty of power here on these two lines here. We've got 4. So we can power each of these. Let me make sure the wires don't get crossed here. I might try and put these roughly in place, but how am I going to attach them. Hey babe, do you have any double-sided tape? Babe. Looks like I'm going to have to look for some double-sided tape on my own. It's going to be fun. No, I'm not going to be able to find it, so I'm just going to use a bit of electrical tape. This worked better in my head. Really need double-sided tape here, but we can make do for now. So I'm just trying to put these in line so I can make sure that when I plug the SATA cables into them, that we do it in a manageable way and it doesn't have to be rewired. Okay, just stay there, please. Doesn't have to be perfect, you just have to stay there. Okay. So we're going to leave one on the end. One. 2. Three. Two hours, 15 minutes, it's pretty good. Okay, so now that we've got these tied down, I can pull this electrical tape off. Because now these are all connected, and we can even connect our last one that we can't connect to the board. We can connect it up and have it all ready to go. Alright, and now we have all of our cables installed. On it, we've got these fans to deal with, and then we've done everything. Play around with that a bit later. So, can't even really put this over a bit. Okay, so we're at the end of our build here. We don't have our graphics cards in place just yet, but obviously that will happen when Rob manages to get his hands on them. But all I have to do is literally screw in his graphics cards at the top here, just like you would screw into the side of the case. and then he just has to hook these risers up, just plug his cards in, and he'll be good to go. So we're at that point of the night where we can install all our software, and we'll find out whether this configuration is all good. It should be all good. Keyboard and a mouse. Get a power cable plugged in. Turn on our power supply. And we'll get a HDMI cable. Oh, it's a display port up there. So I will grab my HDMI to DisplayPort adapter. And we will plug in a display port. There we go. Alright, so we've got a little power on button here. So we're going to hit that. And it looks like I've got a post. Would you look at that? We have a post. Alright, let's reset. So we're running a motherboard with 5 PCIe slots. We've got M2 to PCIe adapter on the way. It's a Z390 motherboard that's under $100. Just got 4 gigs of RAM and 9400, which was the cheapest CPU that I could buy at the time with onboard graphics. Cheapest that would pair with this nice cheap motherboard. And so that's the hardest thing right now, is just parts availability. So this is not like a textbook like component list for the ideal mining rig, because it would be with cheaper parts but because of the boom, all of those cheaper parts are unavailable. AMD's not producing budget CPUs anymore. They're only producing their Ryzen 5s and above. So yeah, there's not going to be too much other than Intel options pretty soon. We're seeing the last dregs of the Ryzen 3s coming through, like selling out everywhere now. Another alternative to this, if you wanted an AMD platform, is you could use a Ryzen 3400G. They're available for about the same as a 9400. Still pretty expensive compared to a Celeron though. So but it looks like all of our slots are getting power. It's like everything's got all green lights. Okay, set up our region. Oh, where are we? Now you can have internet. So we are going to need at least one graphics card here to test all of these connections. So we'll just use this little GT710. Because the other two fans, Nick, they don't light up. They're dead ones. They're free ones that I've just thrown in for Rob. Trying to keep the costs within budget. Okay, so we don't have much to do here because we're not setting up a gaming PC or anything. There's no need to stress test this PC, no need for a games folder on this PC. But we'll get Chrome, CPU ID, disk info, firmark, hardware monitor. That's about it. Alright, well, while this is finishing its updates, I'm going to go to the toilet and get something to eat quickly. Okay, how we going? We all done?
I'm not sure.
Um, let's just make sure the BIOS version is up to date on this board, and then realistically I'll just test all of these risers to make sure that the graphics card's detected, and then this rig is ready to roll. So we have a I'm assuming it's this. I don't think that's right. MS7C22. Maybe we won't update the BIOS because I can't seem to find the same one. Gaming Plus, but it's got different numbers. That's okay. So we'll start by plugging our graphics card into one of these. And we'll boot her up. And so I don't have to plug a display cable in because I'm just going to see what system. So we're going to use GPU Z. Okay, so we're not seeing. Okay, so I'm not seeing it plugged in. Okay, so let's try it. Let's try a different approach here. Okay. First card slot is working. Alright, card slot number 2. That's looking pretty good. Alright, so slots 1 and 2 are fine. Let's try slot number 3. There's slot number 3. slot number 4 now. That's looking pretty good. Slot number 5. Looking pretty good. And we'll just check the slot that's not plugged in at the moment. I'll just swap that over and we'll just make sure that every single one of these is fine. So I'm going to try and do as well. Okay, let's try this last slot. It's looking pretty good. So we are in business. Alrighty, that is what I like to see. So everything is all hooked up, all of our risers are functioning. Let me just put the right one back, because I want these to stay in order so it's nice and neat. Just going to tie up a few of these cables here just to keep it. I'm not going to tie it too tight. Where can we mount this? I mean, it can go anywhere. yeah, it can go anywhere. Let's remove my graphics card. Alrighty. So here it is. Not with any graphics cards installed, but we have one mining rig ready to go. So anyway, thanks for watching this build. I'll be delivering this to, well, I think Rob will be picking it up, but this will be able to be picked up from tomorrow onwards. So whenever Rob's ready to come around and pick it up, it's his. Yeah, everything's working fine. All the risers work. Operating system's installed. Didn't do a BIOS update just because I couldn't find a version of BIOS for that motherboard. For some reason it wasn't on the MSI website, so I didn't do a BIOS update on it. Doesn't seem like we need it. It seems like everything is functioning fine with this configuration. It will just be we need to add the M2 to PCIe riser there at the end. But all in all, a successful build. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.